Let's talk about money. Not just the kind you keep in your wallet or the coins you toss into a jar at the end of the day. I'm talking about the force that shapes lives, builds dreams, and sometimes keeps you up at night. Money is everywhere, fueling ambitions, sparking anxiety, and driving decisions big and small. You've been told your whole life that debt is a monster, a dark cloud, a heavy chain. It's the thing lurking in the background, threatening your peace of mind and your future. The word itself can make your stomach drop, your palms sweat. Parents, teachers, advisors, everyone you trust, have drilled it into you. Get out of debt, cut up your credit cards, live within your means. They say debt is dangerous, a trap that will swallow you whole if you're not careful. They taught you to save every penny, to fear risk, to play defense. The message is clear: protect yourself, avoid mistakes, and never ever owe anyone. But that's not how the wealthy think. The people who build fortunes and change skylines don't see debt as a threat. They see it as an opportunity. Titans like Grant Cardone and Donald Trump see debt as a tool, a superpower. For them, it's not something to run from, but something to master and wield. For these moguls, debt isn't a curse. It's rocket fuel for building empires. It's the engine that powers their biggest moves, the secret ingredient behind their success stories. They don't just tolerate debt, they crave it. They actively seek it out, knowing that with the right strategy, debt can multiply their wealth faster than saving ever could. You don't reach $1 billion by pinching pennies. You get there by using other people's money, OPM. It's about leveraging resources, building partnerships, and thinking bigger than your bank account. Cardone and Trump flipped conventional wisdom on its head. They proved that massive debt, when used wisely and strategically, is the fastest path to massive wealth. They didn't just break the rules, they rewrote them. So forget what you've been told. The old playbook is outdated. It's time to challenge everything you thought you knew about debt. What if debt isn't the enemy? What if it's the key to a level of success you never imagined? Imagine unlocking doors you never thought you'd walk through, simply by changing your perspective. We're pulling back the curtain on how these financial showmen use debt to build kingdoms. You'll see the strategies, the mindset, and the bold moves that set them apart. It's a wild ride, full of audacious moves, high stakes, and moments that separate the bold from the timid. This isn't just about numbers, it's about vision and guts. By the end, you might see that four-letter word, debt, in a whole new light. You might even start to see it as your greatest ally, not your worst enemy. Pay attention. This is a masterclass in making money. The rules are changing, and the future belongs to those who dare to think differently. Let's get started. Grant Cardone's philosophy is simple: 10x everything. He's not just talking about working harder, but about multiplying your results, your income, and your impact by thinking and acting on a much bigger scale than most people dare to imagine. But his real secret? Leverage. Cardone believes that the true power in business and wealth building comes from using other people's money, time, and resources to accelerate your own growth. He draws a hard line: bad debt versus good debt. This distinction is at the core of his financial strategy and is what separates the wealthy from everyone else. Bad debt is money borrowed for things that lose value: cars, gadgets, dinners. It makes you poorer. Every dollar you spend on liabilities is a dollar that could have been working for you, but instead it's draining your future. Good debt, on the other hand, is money borrowed to buy assets that generate income. It's the kind of debt that actually puts money in your pocket, not takes it out. Cardone borrows millions to buy apartment buildings, assets that pay him every month. These properties aren't just investments, they're income machines that work for him around the clock. The rent covers the mortgage, the expenses, and still leaves profit. Even after paying the bank and all the bills, there's money left over, money that builds his wealth month after month. The debt isn't a burden, it's making him richer. Instead of being weighed down by what he owes, Cardone uses debt as a tool to create more opportunities and more income. Cardone would rather have $1 billion in debt with cash-flowing assets than $1 million sitting in the bank. To him, debt is only dangerous if it doesn't produce income. Why? Because cash in the bank shrinks with inflation. Over time, your savings lose value, while assets can appreciate and generate more income. Debt tied to assets grows wealth. When you use debt to buy things that increase in value and pay you back, you're building a financial engine that gets stronger every year. The lesson: stop asking, "Can I afford the payment?" That's how consumers think, not investors. Start asking, "Will this make me money?" Focus on whether your debt is working for you, not against you. Make debt your employee, not your master. When you control your debt and put it to work, you're the one in charge. That's how Cardone built his empire, by mastering the art of good debt and letting it fuel his investments. Understand the difference, and you can start thinking like an investor. It's a mindset shift that can change your financial future. That's the first step to real wealth, learning to use debt as a tool, not a trap, and building a future where your money works for you. Now let's talk about Donald Trump. Trump used debt not just to buy assets but to protect himself when things went south. He never filed personal bankruptcy, but his companies used Chapter 11 6 times. For most, bankruptcy is failure. For Trump, it was a reset button. Chapter 11 let him renegotiate debts, keep control, and come out stronger. He'd build hotels and casinos with massive loans. If they underperformed, his company, not him, entered bankruptcy. Lenders had to negotiate or take a loss. Trump often kept the asset with less debt. It was ruthless, but brilliant. Privatize gains, socialize losses. He played the rules better than anyone. While critics screamed, he cut deals and protected his fortune. Bankruptcy for Trump was a strategic tool, a way to turn weakness into strength. It's high stakes, but it shows a deep understanding of financial power. That's next-level leverage. How do Cardone and Trump build massive portfolios? One word: leverage. Leverage means using a little of your money to control a lot of someone else's. Example: $100,000 can buy a $1 million building with a bank loan. If the property rises 10%, you make $100,000, not $10,000. That's a 100% return, thanks to leverage. This is how fortunes are built. Cardone and Trump are masters at securing loans and scaling fast. Banks want to lend to proven players. They need their money working. With solid deals and credibility, they get massive financing. They're not just buying buildings, they're buying control and multiplying wealth. Leverage is the magic wand of the mega-rich. It's ignored by most, but it's the foundation of real wealth. Learn it and you change the game. That's how empires are built. Leverage gets you assets, but cash flow keeps you rich. For Cardone and Trump, cash flow is everything. The rent from tenants must cover all expenses, including the mortgage. What's left is profit-positive cash flow. Cardone loves apartment buildings because they're predictable, income-generating machines. The debt isn't a burden, it's paid by the tenants. Trump used the same model for hotels and offices: build iconic properties, fill them, let the cash flow pay the debt. When cash flow is strong, the model works perfectly. When it falters, you need a backup plan. But the core principle: debt is only a superpower when it's backed by strong, consistent cash flow. That's the engine of wealth. Never forget it. Here's a secret the wealthy know: debt beats inflation. Inflation erodes savings, but it helps borrowers. Cardone and Trump borrow at fixed rates. Payments stay the same for decades. Meanwhile, inflation makes dollars cheaper and assets more valuable. Rents rise, property values climb, but the mortgage stays flat. The gap between rising income and fixed debt is pure profit. They're getting richer every year just by holding debt on appreciating assets. That's why Cardone says, quit saving money. In inflation, cash is trash. Convert cash and borrowed cash into assets that grow and pay you. Both men built empires on this principle. Fixed-rate debt, hard assets, and the magic of inflation. It's a financial cheat code. Use it wisely. The game keeps evolving, and Cardone and Trump think big. Trump's gold card proposal: offer U.S. citizenship for a $5 million investment. Cardone called it genius, a way to inject trillions into the economy. The plan: attract wealthy investors, pay down debt, create jobs. Both men support tariffs to boost U.S. manufacturing, make domestic assets more valuable. It's all about using bold policies to attract capital and strengthen their own holdings. Cardone's advice on student loans: don't borrow for college unless it pays you back. For him, education debt is the ultimate bad debt. Only borrow for assets that generate returns. That's the rule. Cardone and Trump's greatest asset? Their personal brands. In today's world, attention is currency, and they're masters at capturing it. Trump licensed his name to developers, earning millions with zero risk. His brand became a global asset. Cardone built his brand online: books, seminars, social media. With Cardone Capital, he lets investors pool money for big deals. His brand attracts capital, trust, and opportunity. Both men know a powerful brand is a magnet for money. It opens doors, creates deals, and multiplies wealth. They're not just in real estate, they're in the brand business. Your reputation can be your greatest leverage. So, what can you learn if you're not a billionaire? The truth is, you don't need a private jet or a skyscraper in your name to benefit from the strategies of the ultra-wealthy. Their world might seem out of reach, but the core lessons they use can be adapted to fit your life, no matter your income or background. The key is to focus on the principles, not the flashy details. Don't copy their extremes, but steal their principles. The habits and mindsets that help them build wealth can work for you too, if you're willing to learn and apply them in your own way. First, know the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt is a tool that can help you grow, while bad debt holds you back and drains your resources. Stop borrowing for things that lose value. That means resisting the urge to finance the latest gadgets or splurge on things that won't help you build a better future. Use debt to buy assets that pay you back. Rental property, a business, or skills that boost your income. When you borrow to invest in yourself or in something that generates cash flow, you're setting yourself up for long-term success. Make debt your employee, not your master. Take control by having a clear plan for repayment and always knowing why you're borrowing in the first place. Second, use leverage wisely, even on a small scale. Leverage isn't just for the rich, it's a tool anyone can use to amplify their results if handled with care. A down payment on a home is leverage, just make sure the asset is sound and cash flow is secure. Don't over-leverage. Always run the numbers and be honest about what you can handle. Start small, learn, and build smart. Every big success story started with a single step and a willingness to keep learning along the way. Third, invest in your financial education. The more you know, the more confident and capable you'll become with your money. Study how the wealthy use debt, taxes, and inflation to their advantage. These aren't just abstract concepts, they're tools you can use to protect and grow your own wealth. The system rewards those who understand it. When you know the rules, you can play the game smarter and make decisions that put you ahead. Cardone and Trump didn't get rich by following the crowd. They questioned the status quo and looked for opportunities where others saw obstacles. They learned the rules and bent them. You can do the same by thinking creatively and not being afraid to challenge conventional wisdom. You don't need to be extreme, but you do need to be smart. Stop fearing debt. Start using it. With the right mindset, debt can be a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. That's how you win the money game. The path is open to anyone willing to learn, adapt, and take action, starting right where you are.